begs GRA staff for more cash as Commissioner General chills in Malaysia, Dubai. That's an interesting twist to the story, but yes, that's what the Daily Gist newspaper is leading with this morning. Minority calls for head of Ayariga. We'll get you the full story. Rainstorm scatters Omane Boama's funeral in Koforidia. Daddy Lumba finally laid to rest. BOG defies Mahama on injecting dollars to save city. President San Sharaf military escort sparks uproar, and Abu Trika dodges questions on lifestyle. I'll get you details of the Daily Gist because they have quite the honest twist on a number of these stories. RTI petition cites G-Tech ban in challenge to KSTU VC's PhD. Time to break mining's gender barriers. MIF CEO. VAT on insurance products slows uptake. Hits brokers. Azuma orders $37.5 million equipment set part for first gold pour in 2027. Africa marks decade of steady gains in visa-free movement. Those are the stories on the news center as well. I'll take you to the Republic Press. Brian ends Western tour, covers 219 constituencies, targets 57 more. National security arrests 32 Nigerian online fraudsters at Kaswa Tuba. Nation bids farewell to Omane Boama as First Lady leads delegation. In the Western North region, 1 killed, 3 wounded in Joaboso Bonsun Kwanta Road crash. Iyoko flags Abu Trika among notorious online scammers in Ghana. Ayariga Dapiamekpo must resign over OSP office repeal bill. Okay, that's the minority's position on the subject matter as well. The Daily Post is the next paper I have. ECOWAS unanimously endorses President Mahama for African Union chairmanship. Comes with a picture of President Mahama. Jospon Group builds landmark Pentecost Church for community. Weeping skies bid farewell to Dr. Omane Boama. The rains come down fierce and heavy as the late Dr. Omane Boama's final funeral rite was held in Kufuridia, and there's a picture of President Mahama in the photo gallery of the Daily Post at the 62nd anniversary celebration of Kenya. That's the president, along with his very good friend, Dr. William Ruto, as well, from the Kenya Independence Day celebration. I'll take you online now and do the review of the online portals quickly. 3news.com. Most foreign institutions giving doctorate degrees to Ghanaians have no accreditation. As Professor Ahmed Jinapo is the G-Tech boss. CDS warns against misinformation in Ghana Armed Forces. G-Tech is not only chasing academic titles, we are doing more. Professor Ahmed Jinapo is saying this. Abu Trika's partner released from custody as lawyers threaten lawsuit against Yoko. I've never seen accreditation for Swiss Management Center. None exists. G-Tech boss. So that interview from yesterday dominating 3news.com. MyJournalline.com, the top story. Boy 13 shot dead as youth torch mining vehicles at Adelekezu. Analyzing Bank of Ghana's $10 billion Forex intervention. Low condom use among young people in Volta region disheartening. AIDS Commission is saying this. Ghanaian PhD students petition UK Prime Minister over unpaid scholarships and deportation fears. 2026 World Cup. How FIFA priced Africa's ordinary fan out of the tournament and why the gap with the rest of the world is impossible to ignore. On City Newsroom, Eddie Watch is saying that Galamsey Betting is driving school dropout in northern Ghana. They also have cybercrime, extradition of 9 Ghanaians, an extraordinary achievement, as according to the U.S. Minta Kando, $22 billion health budget to strengthen infrastructure there as well. One of the many stories on the news portal. But let me take you to the Daily Gist, because they had quite the stories in terms of the reactions from the weekend, right? I'll start off first with the minority calling for the head of Ayariga in relation to that private members bill seeking to remove the office of the seeking to dissolve the office of the special prosecutor, and the reactions from thereof since the president's request to have them withdraw that piece of legislation. And the minority in parliament has intensified pressure on the majority leadership, demanding the immediate resignation of Majority Leader Mahama Ayariga and the Chief Whip Roxy Nelson Dapiameko following the withdrawal of a controversial bill aimed at repealing the office of the special prosecutor. The call underscores deep political tensions over the management of the anti-corruption architecture and the balance of parliamentary authority. On December 8, Ayariga and Dapiameko sponsored the Office of the Special Prosecutor Repeal Bill 2025, which sought to abolish Act 959, effectively dissolving the OSP and transferring its functions to the Attorney General's office. The move immediately generated national debate, as it appeared to challenge the independence of one of the key anti-corruption institutions. All right? The minority, through a statement signed by First Deputy Minority Whip Habib Idris, to describe the initiative as unauthorized, ill-conceived, and a serious breach of trust. They criticized the parliamentary leadership for acting in apparent contradiction to President Mahama's earlier public endorsement of the OSP. So the minority characterized the actions of Ayariga and Dapiameko as either gross incompetence or deliberate insubordination, asserting that such conduct demonstrated unfitness for leadership roles. They argue that the episode had weakened prosecutorial independence, damaged the anti-corruption credibility, and raised serious concerns about democratic governance. And so that's the minority on the private members bill, which now stands moot, will no longer proceed as a result of the intervention of the president. But there's another story here. It's by Isa Olego. So the first one I read to you was by Daniel Bampo. This one is by Isa Olego. Reads, the bank is titled BOG defies Mahama on injecting dollars to safe city. Now, the Bank of Ghana's continuous supply of foreign exchange to the market has ignited fresh debates after President Mahama publicly declared that his administration had stopped pumping dollars into the economy to support the city. While the president's remarks suggested a clear policy break from past practices of defending the local currency through direct intervention, disclosures from the central bank show that the dollar sales have in fact continued, though under a restructured framework. The BOG insists is fundamentally different from ad hoc currency support. President Mahama's comments came against the backdrop of renewed efforts to curb the dollarization of the economy, as the IMF also kicked against the BOG's market intervention. As part of this broader policy shift, the government directed that all state contracts be priced in cedis and signaled an end to discretionary forex. I think this is something that the IMF themselves asked for, and we've subsequently seen a structure,
right,
of some sort as to how the Bank of Ghana makes forex available, and so they announce how much they are going to be making available to the market as and when necessary. And in most of the instances, not everything is mopped up, and so the excess is taken back. And that's been running since, was it October of this year, since we've been on. And so not very fresh or not very new in terms of the things that we've seen play out. Good morning to you, Helen, as well.
Good morning. Have we had a bite of this front page?
Yes, all the front pages.
Well, this tells me that Brian Champon listens to Sunrise. Yes, because I had been talking about, well, I would say he's visible.
You've been asking where he's been.
Yeah.
In all fairness.
Because it appears we only really heard from two of the
Kennedy Japan, and then
yes, and then Dr. Bamia, two of the flag bearer hopefuls. And the showdown day is January 31st.
Yeah.
Of next year. Whoa, la. Well, Brian has ended, and by Brian I mean Dr. Brian Champon has ended his Western tour, covering some 219 constituencies. He's targeting 57 more. I mean, in all fairness, this particular flag bearership race is directed towards the delegates who will be voting, the delegates of the NPP who will be voting. But still, we've had some, more visibility from others than we have. Where is your good friend, Dr. Educhum? Where is he?
He's been touring.
He's also touring.
Yes, he's also touring, but it's been on the quiet, very much so. Very, very much so. He's been touring, but on the quiet, on his part.
On the low. That's what Bernard Boy calls it.
Perhaps I'll play that one for the people who are doing the silent.
Yeah, silent one. Then you have Engineer Japan, and many have said should have put his hat in the race for general chairmanship. Although that one is being keenly and hotly contested.
Oh, but the candidates they are quite strong.
Yeah, maybe apart from chairmanship, I don't know. Secretary or...
He wants to be... No, he was secretary when the suspension came through. And so
Secretary 2.0, another go-around, or that's too much of a... Would I call it a demotion? Is it a demotion?
Yeah.
In the face of, his presidential ambitions. He's been on the ballot box, actually, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was a part of those who contested in 2023 for flag bearership for the party in 2025. But he couldn't make it past the first round.
Okay.
He couldn't make it past the first round in 2023. But hopefully we'll see how his fortunes will align in this year's election as well. Next year's election, I should say.
Next year's election. I mean, by all predictions, not even ones restricted to global info analytics, it's not looking so good for Engineer Japan. It's the two front runners, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And maybe if I add a third person, it's Dr. Brian Champon. Let me just sink my teeth into this very quickly. So Dr. Brian Champon has concluded his tour of the Western and Western North regions, ending the engagements at Bibiani on Tuesday. With the completion of this leg, he has now visited 219 constituencies across 11 of Ghana's 16 regions. Now, Mauna, this will take place across the whole country. The delegates are from far and wide.
Yes, all delegates in every constituency, they're expected to vote.
Okay, and that's in all the 16 regions.
Yes.
Okay. Now, according to his campaign team, the next phase of the nationwide tour will cover the remaining 57 constituencies in the 5 regions yet to be visited. Addressing party delegates during the tour, Dr. Champon stated that his decision to enter the New Patriotic Party's flag bearer race is driven by a singular objective: securing political power for the NPP in the 2028 general elections. He said the party's performance in the 2024 elections calls for decisive action and a new strategy direction if the NPP is to remain relevant in Ghana's political landscape.
There's been a lot of talk from the weekend. Kennedy Japan has been touring the Greater Accra region, and he's enjoyed some support. I think the Tema Central Member of Parliament was speaking and said, look, if they don't give the thing to Kennedy, then before they will return to power again, it will be in 12 years.
12 years, yes.
So they have to bear shame and keep their eyes wide open. I don't know what you make of it, but he's seeking to suggest that a failure to win the 2028 election will mean that whoever will win on the side of the NDC will have a clean run for 8 years as well. That's what Charles Forson was seeking to say, and was of opinion that, look, Kennedy Japan is the best bet in terms of persons who can actually help us wrestle power from the NPP. That tour is continuing today as well, but there's a lot of talk with respect to what is possible and what is not possible for the NPP in elections 2028. You played the fifth.
I mean, in terms of the 2028 elections, we still have some ways to go.
Yeah, so quite
and I understand that, of course, the NPP are seeking to elect their flag bearer, so these conversations come up. I would enjoy it more if we redirected some of the energy towards developmental conversations, but it's not one that we can shy away from because of the decision that the NPP has made. When you monitor the polls, and the ones especially have been put out by Musa Danko of Global Info Analytics, the indicators at this present time seem to be still in the favor of the NDC. The goodwill maybe not as high as it was in the first year, which is to be in the start of the year, which is to be expected, but it still seems quite high. So it will really depend what happens in 26, 27, and also in 2028. But from where I sit, the NPP has an uphill battle. What will really make or break, even beyond who they choose come January 31, 2026, is how they're able to rebuild or build cohesiveness. Because some of the low blows and the jabs and the 10 commandments and the deadly sins that we've had, and the infographics and the pictures, and you did this and you brought junk economy, my question is, will they really be able to bounce back from that? So that's the main thing. How are they even going to rebuild?
I suspect.
I mean, do you see it? Really?
I'll be very honest. I suspect they will. I suspect they should be able to. They've handed quite the arsenal to the opponent.
Free.
But all things being equal, both parties start off on 40% footing. And then
in terms of?
Support base.
Okay.
40% support base each. And so all you have to do is convince the floating voter that you have the best interest of the country at heart. Because there are persons who come rain, shine, through hellfire, whatever, wherever they stand is where they will stand.
Oh, you mean the NPP and the NDC enjoy 40% of the voters, like their loyalty?
Absolutely.
I see.
They've not, I think since 96, because 92 elections, really, it was pretty fresh in the fourth round, so people don't like to count that as a part of everything. But after 96, 2000, both parties consistently 40%.
You enjoy each. More than so you've
40% each.
You've got to convince the floaters.
Exactly. It's more often than not a certain 20% that shifts the tide between each of them.
But I mean, of the 40% that stay loyal, if I was a die-hard Dr. Bawumia fan and the delegates choose this time round to go with Kennedy Japan, could it be that I will be so pained, especially if Dr. Bawumia says, now I'm also going to just, you can't, you've not rewarded my loyalty. I'm now going to break away maybe and do my own thing. That could then weaken maybe that 40% base. Or do you say that still you think that they can come together, given what has been said? Oh, Mauna, they said the 10 sins of so and so, the deadly sins.
They'll
come back.
They'll come together. As for the fight, the internal fight, I always say that look, it's one that is a part of every household in terms
part of the game
of the politics, because these are interests at play, and persons look at the high office of president and say, look, I have to by all means get there, because the authority and the power that comes with it. We'll have a conversation as to whether or not all the strife is actually indeed to serve the people, or for personal aggrandizement and personal scores and what it is that you can get from the office. But that conversation aside, it is the highest office of the land. And people will do whatever it is humanly possible to get there. Afterwards, there's this conversation that says that it is always better to be sidelined while you are in office your government or your party is in office than to be a mainstay when you're in opposition.
That's right.
So it always comes to that, and the fact that they will come together and rally together. That's why, yes, I mean, we've enjoyed the basketballs, like you say, and the tensions. We continue to monitor in the conversation. We always ask the question, can they come together after all of this? Can Miracle Tabuaji campaign for Kennedy Japan when he wins? Can Kwesi Kwarteng do same for Baumia when he wins, based on the sort of narrative that they've all spun from their camps? When it comes to the cracks, I have a friend, a colleague of mine, who says that sometimes they don't understand what power entails. That's why they've been doing what they've been doing. When they understand properly what power entails, they'll stop all the dirty linens they continue to wash in the public and come together to ensure that they win elections 2020. That reality will dawn on them after perhaps a second, third year, when some of the goodies you have stored begins to diminish and you are staring at the empty barrel.
That's
Nothing
right.
will tell you to come together and work to secure victory.
Like you said, at that point, the opposition will have that arsenal locked, ready, and loaded. But Bronya is here. Fellow Ghanaians, are you ready for some good news? Well, fuel prices are set to drop for Christmas. Oil Marketers Board Chair assures. Now, board chairman of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Gabriel Kumi, says Ghanaians should expect cheaper fuel this Christmas as global product prices continue to fall. He says the indicators already point to clear reductions across petrol, diesel, and LPG, and consumers will feel the relief from mid-December. Oh, what day is it today? Today is...
Yeah, we're entering the second pricing window,
this is
today.
The mid-December that is being talked about. Well, speaking on PM Express Business Edition, he said, fortunately, Ghanaians are going to have a very good Christmas in terms of petroleum prices, because already the indication is that the price of finished petroleum products is going down. He explained that diesel has seen about a 10% decrease and petrol has already seen about a 6% decrease. Mr. Kumi added that LPG has also seen some 1.5% decrease. Okay, so 'tis the season indeed. Those of you with multiple Christmas plans, you can crisscross like Marina. You pass here, then you pass here. From Domi to here to here. Only God knows what he's doing.
Have mercy on me.
Only God knows what he's doing.
Have mercy on me.
All across the board.
Will be home all throughout the Christmas festivities, minding my business.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll be home. I'll be home.
Now, this
Tucked
one...
away in my sheets, actually.
I'm sure. Tucked away in your sheets for one, or anyways. It's too early in the morning.
Yes, please.
There was this story. Of course, it's... been very topical all throughout last week, but I'm sure many of us noted it. Ayariga, the firm must resign over the OSP office repeal bill coming from the minority. Something we'll test the pulse on our socials, so do give us a follow. Facebook, on IG, on X, also on YouTube. We also stream on YouTube, so don't forget, so that you never miss a beat. The conversations concerning the OSP, they're still evolving. Some twists and turns here. I was monitoring the conversations on the key points over the weekend. I can't remember which panelist made that submission that the president should have asked his leaders in parliament to withdraw the bill, quietly. It should have been done on the quiet to avoid all this extra chit-chat that we're having. I don't know if you agree that should have just been...
Yeah, it could have been done on the quiet. It could have been done on the quiet. But I think the president... Well, I don't really know what the basis is, but I'm just trying to hazard a guess whether or not to make it clear that, look, I am not for any attempt to dissolve the office. Perhaps
to signal to the wider audience,
because I'm not going to sit here and hazard a guess. I'm not in the mind of the president. I don't know what happens at the presidency and all of that. But there had been that criticism, because I saw the Ofuasi Ayariga MP post on Twitter. I hate saying post on Twitter. Tweet that it was what Martin Pebu likes to say, kokwasa. The Leonard Council is always saying kokwasa. So the president says, I'm not for a dissolution of the office. I think they need time. Then the majority in parliament is presenting a private member's bill. The minority was seeking to suggest that, look, this is all a ploy. They want to actually collapse the office, but the president is deliberately saying that, I don't think it is necessary, whilst the MPs do his bidding for him.
Got it.
I saw that. I don't know if the presidency saw that as well, and hence decided to make this public. I cannot tell. But all I'm just saying is I'm doing the analysis based on what it is that I saw and some of the conversations. But interestingly, when that debate happened on the floor of the House, it enjoyed support from both sides, actually.
That's right.
Both sides were of the opinion that if it is indeed the case that, look, we believe the OSP's office has not done enough, then bring a private member's bill and let's dissolve it and take it back to the Attorney General. But politics will always be politics. I mean, they exist to dabble in some of the conversations and the controversy they bring to themselves every day. So we wait to see.
Very interesting indeed. We'll see how that evolves. It looks like week on week we're having some more updates as far as the OSP is concerned. But he was in court, wasn't he, last week? Sometime. I don't think he granted the press.
No, he didn't. He didn't
any
grant
public
interviews. He just made his way out of the courts. But if you know, I think Sixers managed to get a word or two out of him.
That's right.
On the buy. Nothing official or on record, because like I was saying, that's his lecturer as well. It was his criminal law lecturer, and so there's that affinity to an extent. I'll take you to City Newsroom as you try and get us a bit more in terms of extraditions, right? And the Game Boys, as they like to call them, right?
Oh,
extradition of
issue.
9 Ghanaians, an extraordinary achievement. That's according to the U.S., the chargé d'affaires at the U.S. Embassy, Ralph Olson. I was there on Friday when this news address happened. We worked on the story as well. But the United States has commended the John Mahama administration for its strong cooperation in combating cybercrime and facilitating extraditions, describing the collaboration as extraordinary. Speaking at a roundtable discussion at the U.S. Embassy in Accra on Friday, December 12, 2025, the U.S. Chargé d'Affaires, Ralph Olson, praised the government of President Mahama, the Attorney General, and the Interior Ministry for working closely with the U.S. authorities to uphold the rule of law. Mr. Olson disclosed that 9 Ghanaians have been extradited to the U.S. this year over cybercrime and related offenses, including online impersonation and schemes that allegedly defrauded victims of millions of dollars. He was joined at the event by the U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary for West Africa at the Bureau of African Affairs, William Stevens. He clarified that extradition does not automatically result in imprisonment, stressing the suspects are entitled to due process under the U.S. laws. Mr. Olson added that convicted persons could face prison sentences depending on the offenses proven in court. He mentioned the Abu Trika incident. And stated that just yesterday, that was at the time of Friday, that just yesterday the U.S., the Ghanaian authorities had helped to arrest yet another person of interest in the U.S. for defrauding and engaging in romance scams, amongst many other things. And so that's that. But I don't know what you make or subsequently of the minister's address. It was a press conference where he said 3 more of such persons were going to be picked up in the coming days. There are those who say, oh, Charlie, are you putting us on notice of such sensitive national security operations or security operations? It should not be something that is disclosed so openly. I don't know what you make of it and the commentary which surrounded the communications minister's presser, if you can call it a presser.
I need to go back and listen to that. Over the weekend, I was still fighting. Listen, whoever gave me this cold,
I'm not sure it's me, so please
no
stop.
Christmas chicken for you.
Please stop looking at me in the manner in which you are.
Whoever gave me this viral cold, no Christmas chicken for you.
Oh, you have
I think in monitoring this conversation, I see a lot of people saying, well, we want to see a trade. It appears that it's always one-sided. we are always offering up the goodies to you. You need somebody to come and account. We have them ready on a silver platter. And I say this in light of the Ken Ofori-Atta saga and the petitions so far that have been signed in a bid to get him to come back, on home soil to answer to the good people of Ghana. That seems to be the conversation I've also seen spring up a lot. I don't know if you've also caught that wave.
I have. On that score, they did speak to it and said, look, extraditions from the US, they take time. They actually take time.
But we are on, though, it doesn't take time. Sharp, back. Hey.
Is
there an imbalance that we're seeing? That was the question I saw springing up. Is there an imbalance that we're seeing? Does it depend on who you are, whom you are, what type of office you you want occupied? Because it seems to be speedy on one end, and on the other end, no show. What does that mean?
Well, I will struggle to have a response to that. But yes, those concerns are very, very legitimate, as a lot of people, particularly on social media, in the aftermath when our news cards went out, people were asking the question, what about doing us a favor and bringing us just one person? That was a commentary. They say, we don't want a lot of Ghanaians, just bring us one.
It's only one that
because I know we have two extradition. The ones that are public, Sedinam Tamaklo, the former Maslok boss, and then Ken Ofori-Atta as well.
Yes.
Those two individuals were seeking to have extradited into the country.
Exactly. That's why I ask, is it your stature that, in society, that would mean that you inquire your extradition is so lengthy a process? Sedinam Tamaklo, it's been how long now?
She's been gone for a while.
Long time.
She's been gone for a while. And then there's the ever-present one that has everybody talking. The Kennedy Japan, not Kennedy Japan. Ken Ofori-Atta.
You want to see showdown?
The Ken Ofori-Atta one. I think I was seeing a story in relation to Kennedy Japan at Telcom on 3news.com.
I see.
There's a latest from Global Info Analytics on the Pandai rerun. They've pulled up a latest poll which puts the NPP's Matthew Nyindam in a lead. 50% of the polls of respondents say if the elections were to happen at this instant moment, they'll give him the nod to return to Parliament again. And so, yes, I've just seen the report as well. He leads with 50%. Daniel Insala Wakpao, 46. There is the undecided 3%, and then there's a 1% who say they'll vote for somebody else.
That's interesting.
And so, even if you add the 3% to Wakpao, based on this poll, Nyindam makes it with 1%, because the 1% say they are going to vote for somebody else. But there are other interesting dynamics within the poll, which makes for an interesting watch in terms of how things will play out, because this falls within the margin of error of what the researcher has done. That's Musa Dankwa. But there's also 66% of respondents who say the country is headed in the right direction and that the president is doing well. In fact, if you break down the numbers further of the persons who say that they are NPP supporters, there is a 30-something% who say that the country is headed in the right direction and that the president is doing well. If you want to extrapolate and say, okay, this are potentials who, if you work on, can vote for the NDC, then there could be trouble for the NPP, because on the other side, you see that the NDC is enjoying near 95% in terms of persons or supporters who think that the party is headed in the right direction. That is if you want to draw an inference from headed in the right direction and then how they may decide to vote in that December 30 rerun. But this is what is the latest from the Global Info Analytics in terms of the polls. Mr. Nyindam is leading. He's been confident he will win. and we'll see how it all plays out come December 30.
Certainly.
I want to just do one final story, then we can open the phone lines for our viewers to join in as well. And the skies were weeping from over the weekend when Dr. Edodo Maneboama was finally laid to rest in terms of a ceremony by the family. And the skies wept over Kufuridia Saturday, December 13, as heavy rains coincided with the final funeral rites for the late Minister of Defense, Dr. Edward Kofi Maneboama. The downpour, while disrupting part of the massive gathering at the Jackson Park, was viewed by many mourners as a poignant celestial tribute to the distinguished statesman who tragically died in that military helicopter crash on August 6, 2025. The solemn ceremony brought together the nation's political elite, led by First Lady Mrs. Lordina Mahama, who headed a high-powered delegation that included the Chief of Staff, Majority Leader, and Finance Minister Dr. Ato Forson. The funeral service was intended to be the nation's final large-scale public tribute to Dr. Maneboama, who was highly respected across political aisles despite the inclement weather. The Jackson Park remained packed with mourners, a testament to the wide-reaching impact of the late minister. The funeral was marked by deep reflection and reverence as mourners gathered to bid farewell to a distinguished statesman. The occasion was characterized by glowing tributes highlighting Dr. Maneboama's remarkable life of service to the nation, his humility in leadership, and his unwavering commitment to Ghana's development. And that's from the weekend. Finally, the nation bid Dr. Maneboama farewell, and what was really a tragic. I cannot get that date out of my mind.
I'm telling you,
a difficulty really, and for most of the families, that difficulty will continue to be one that they live with for a very, 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 very long time in terms of what happened on that day. I see you have a final story as well. Just before
in fact, that was the
goal.
Same one that I was looking at. Nation bids farewell to Maneboama. I was going to say, may the souls of the dearly departed continue to rest in peace. But also this one here, I know got a lot of you talking more. And on this, Mahama endorsed by ECOWAS for 2027 AU chair. Now, the ECOWAS Council of Ministers has unanimously endorsed President John Dramani Mahama as West Africa's sole candidate for the African Union AU chairpersonship when the regional rotation reaches the continent in 2027. The decision has been widely praised as a strong demonstration of regional unity and confidence in Mahama's leadership, diplomatic experience, and commitment to Africa's development. We've talked a lot, especially in the last 2 weeks or so, about the regional blocs, especially R1, ECOWAS, and whether or not we're seeing that needed vibrancy, authority, even urgency in matters concerning this particular region, given the insecurity that we're seeing. And of course, we have to also think about our own security and the peace that we've enjoyed throughout the period. Those who watch this space say it's not something to take your eye off at all. Absolutely. You can't take it for granted that conditions will prevail. So we also wait to see what our president can do in that space. Is it going to be business as usual, or can President Mahama being a bit of a game changer in that space?
Well, the heads of state as well endorsed him during this weekend. So the story captured the ministers.
Okay.
Right? But over the weekend, when there was that extraordinary meeting of the ECOWAS heads of state, they as well subsequently endorsed him again, saying that, look, when it comes, was it 2027 or 2026? I think it's 2026, if I'm not mistaken.
The story
mentions 27, but I think it's 26.
I see.
There is that unanimity in coming to the conclusion that Ghana's president will be the next AU chair. But Helen, thank you very much for helping us through the reviews. We'll get into your phone calls as well pretty shortly. But there's a world-class university right here in Ghana, Rosebank International University.